Loneliness and being alone are often confused, but they are not the same thing. Many people think that if you are alone, you must be lonely. And if you are with people, you must feel okay. But life is not that simple. Some of the loneliest people in the world are surrounded by others, and some of the most peaceful people are completely alone. Loneliness is a feeling. Being alone is a situation. One hurts, the other can heal. You can be alone in a quiet room and feel calm, safe, and free. And you can be in a relationship, in a family, in a crowded room, and still feel deeply lonely. That kind of loneliness hurts more because you expect connection, but you don't feel it. Loneliness is not about how many people are around you. It is about how connected you feel. Many people stay busy to avoid loneliness. They talk, they scroll, they meet people, they stay in relationships that don't feel right. Not because they are happy, but because silence scares them. Being alone forces you to listen to your thoughts, and not everyone is ready for that. Being alone gives you space. Loneliness takes something away from you. Loneliness feels like something is missing, like a gap inside you. You feel unseen, unheard, misunderstood. You might think, if only someone really knew me, or if only someone stayed. Loneliness often comes from emotional disconnection, not physical isolation. That's why you can feel lonely even when someone sleeps next to you. Being alone, on the other hand, can feel full. It can feel quiet, but not empty. When you are alone by choice, you are not running away from people. You are choosing yourself. You are choosing peace over noise, clarity over confusion. Many people are afraid of being alone because they confuse it with loneliness. They think being alone means being abandoned, unwanted, forgotten. But that is not true. Being alone can be a form of self-respect. Loneliness often begins when you stop being yourself to keep others close. When you hide your feelings, when you don't speak your truth, when you stay silent to avoid conflict. Slowly, you disappear inside relationships. People see you, but they don't know you, and that is loneliness. Being alone can begin when you finally stop pretending, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop chasing connection that costs you your peace. Being alone can be the moment you say, I would rather be by myself than feel alone with someone else. There is a special kind of loneliness that comes from one-sided relationships. When you care more, when you try harder, when you wait for messages that never come, when you explain your pain again and again and nothing changes. That loneliness is exhausting. Being alone after that kind of relationship can feel like relief, quiet, safety, space to breathe again. Society often teaches us that being alone is a problem that needs to be fixed. Movies, social media, and even family conversations make it seem like happiness only exists in relationships. If you are single, people ask questions. Why are you alone? When will you find someone? As if being alone is a temporary failure. But no one asks if you are at peace. Loneliness is often invisible. People don't always notice it, even when it's right in front of them. Someone can smile, laugh, work, socialize, and still feel deeply lonely at night. That loneliness shows up in small moments, in the need to be understood, in the wish that someone would ask, "Are you really okay?" Being alone allows you to hear yourself again. Your thoughts, your needs, your emotions. When you are always surrounded by others, it's easy to forget who you are when no one is watching. Loneliness makes you feel like you don't belong. Being alone helps you rebuild that sense of belonging within yourself. There is also a difference between chosen solitude and forced isolation. When you are alone because you choose it, it feels empowering. When you are alone because you feel rejected or unwanted, it can feel painful. But even then, learning how to be alone can slowly turn loneliness into strength. Loneliness says, I need someone to complete me. Being alone says, I am complete and I choose connection, not dependency. Many people jump from relationship to relationship not because they are in love, but because they are afraid of loneliness. They fear the empty space. They fear nights alone. They fear facing themselves. So they accept half love, unclear love, unsafe love. And slowly, that creates more loneliness. Being alone can be a pause, a reset, a chance to ask yourself important questions. What do I really want? What kind of love feels safe to me? What am I no longer willing to accept? Loneliness often keeps you stuck in the past. You miss people who hurt you. You romanticize memories. You forget the pain and remember only the connection. Being alone helps you see things clearly, without emotional noise, without confusion. Loneliness feels heavy. It drains your energy. It makes you question your worth. Being alone can feel light. It gives you energy back. It helps you rebuild trust with yourself. Some people are surrounded by friends but still feel lonely because they cannot be honest. They cannot be vulnerable. They cannot say, "I'm not okay." That emotional distance creates loneliness. Being alone gives you permission to be honest, with no performance, no mask, no pressure to be interesting or strong. Loneliness often makes people settle. Being alone helps people choose better. There is also loneliness that comes from not feeling understood. When your values, dreams, or emotions don't match the people around you. When you feel like you're speaking a different language. That kind of loneliness can exist anywhere. Being alone helps you reconnect with your inner voice. It helps you remember what matters to you even if others don't understand it yet. Loneliness asks for distraction. Being alone invites reflection. Loneliness makes time feel slow and painful. Being alone can make time feel meaningful. The goal of life is not to avoid being alone. The goal is to avoid feeling lonely in places where you should feel safe. Being alone does not mean closing your heart. It means protecting it. It means learning the difference between connection and attachment, between love and fear. When you learn to be alone without feeling lonely, relationships change. You no longer beg for attention. You no longer chase. You no longer stay where you are not valued. You choose connection because you want it, not because you need it to survive. Loneliness makes you feel like love is something outside of you. Being alone teaches you that love also starts within. Some days, being alone feels uncomfortable, and that's okay. Growth is not always comfortable. Silence can be loud at first, but slowly it becomes familiar, and then it becomes peaceful. Loneliness often comes from abandoning yourself to keep others. Being alone is the act of coming back to yourself. You don't need to be alone forever, and you don't need to fear loneliness forever either. Understanding the difference between the two gives you power. You can want connection without being desperate for it. You can enjoy being alone without closing yourself to love. Loneliness says, "I am empty." Being alone says, "I am listening." And when you truly understand that difference, you stop running from silence. You stop settling for noise. You stop confusing presence with connection. You realize that being alone is not the opposite of love. It is often the place where real love begins.